Mother Teresa used to tell people who wanted to come visit her in her work in India that Calcutta was everywhere. You just needed eyes to see it. A few years ago, a friend and I were having lunch together, dreaming of a different life. You know, the kind of life that you know you're meant to live, but are afraid to. We talked about the things that we would do, things like helping the poor and serving other people and generally being better versions of ourselves. And that's when my friend said, you know, if all we ever do is talk about this, I mean, if we don't actually do anything, we don't care at all. He was right. And so the next day we headed downtown. We wandered the streets of Nashville looking for someone, anyone, to help. Armed with a backpack full of granola bars and apples, we were determined to do some good. But no one was around. So we sat down and slumped into a park bench, ready to give up. And that's when we saw Steve. He wandered in, approaching us, and ate one of our apples. And as we talked, Steve told us that a year ago, all of his stuff was stolen and he was driven to the streets, the only place where he felt accepted. As we talked, he blurted out, "Do you want to see where I live?" I turned to my friend. Our eyes both got wide with fear. And then we turned back to Steve and for some inexplicable reason said, "Yes." So we climbed over the cement barricade and we journeyed down this worn path into a valley that formed the banks of a river. And as we descended what felt like hundreds of feet, we saw the city slowly pass away. As we passed through leaves and branches, the bars and businesses and buildings up above slowly disappeared. And that's when we saw it. Carved out of the side of a concrete wall was a large man-made cave, and inside was a dozen or so people living there. As I stood there trying to take it all in, I glanced up above to where I came from, and I watched through the cracks in the leaves people passing by. They couldn't see me, but I could see them. When I thought of the homeless people living in Nashville, I never thought of this camp, these lives. They had a home. It was just hard to see. We only stayed a little while, but we would come back many, many times. Most people, I think, want to do the right thing. They're just afraid of the cost. I know I was. But life, I've found, is full of moments like these. Moments where we step off the worn path and journey into the bush. Moments where we allow a broken world to slam into our comfortable lives. Moments where we allow ourselves to be wrecked. Turns out Mother Teresa was right. Calcutta is everywhere. You just need eyes to see it.